In movies and TV shows, the act of stalking is always used to build suspense and thrill. However, in real life, it is not always taken as seriously by police as it should be, and almost always ends in tragedy and heartbreak. So grab yourself a mocha as we unravel the case of Alice Ruggles. On May 8, 1993, Alice Ruggles was born to nurse Sue and computer programmer Clive. Her family described her as bubbly, kind, and would light up any room that she walked into. At the age of 11, when at a PGL camp, she discovered her love for fencing. She represented her home county of Leicestershire and the East Midlands region on many occasions. She always saw success on the national fencing circuit. By the time she was 18, Alice was selecting potential universities based on the strengths of their fencing clubs, and she ended up choosing Northumbria, where she became club captain. Alice stayed in Newcastle after graduation, having come to love the city and the housemates that she lived with. She secured a job at Sky's Newcastle hub as a customer service agent and was quickly promoted to become site coordinator and personal assistant to the head of sales. In October 2015, she went on holiday to Sri Lanka with her friend Jen, and as they were boarding the plane, the man sat next to them had begun to flirt with Alice. Jen posted a selfie of them both sat on the plane, accompanied with a joke about how the holiday had not even begun yet and Alice had already been hit on. Tremaine Harry Dhillon commented on that selfie, saying, "I don't blame him." After that comment, Alice started to become friendly with him online, and on the first day of their holiday, she was talking with him constantly. Her friend remembers Alice sitting in the lobby of the hotel, trying to find the best spot for Wi-Fi so she could continue to talk to him. Harry Dhillon was raised in a strict military environment. His father was a colonel in the Indian Army. He was an only child and was used to his parents doing anything for him. He had come to the UK to study in university, and when he graduated, he decided to join the British Army. Harry and Alice's relationship moved very quickly. After talking online every day for a month, they were telling people that they were in a relationship before they had even met each other in person. Red flags started to emerge to Alice's friends when Alice took a group trip to a cottage in Northumberland and wasn't replying as fast as Harry would like because she didn't have signal. He texted Jen to tell her he wanted Alice to reply to him. Alice was moving furniture in the cottage to the corner of rooms to try and get better signal, just so she could reply to him. Alice's friends were not comfortable with how distracted she was whilst on holiday with them. The couple finally met in person in January 2016. Dhillon had come back from Afghanistan for 2 weeks' leave to his barracks in Penicuik, Edinburgh. He travelled the 120 miles to Newcastle to spend a week with Alice. She was nervous to meet him, but by the end of the first day they spent together, she was infatuated with him. Harry became very demanding of her time and would make backhanded compliments about her. For example, at one point he told her that she had quite hairy arms and a big nose, but he didn't care about that, but other men might. This started to hurt Alice's self-confidence. When video chatting on Skype one day after an argument, Harry pulled a long blonde strand of hair from his uniform and looked at it in the camera lens to rub it in to Alice. When she questioned him about it, he called her crazy and told her it was her own insecurities that made her think he was cheating on her. Alice started to lose weight, lose confidence, and became very recluse in herself. Harry became more and more controlling throughout the relationship and would question her whereabouts, what she's wearing, and who she was with. He would drive 2 hours and turn up unannounced when she was out with her friends and would convince her to go off with him instead. One day, Alice got a message from a girl she didn't know to tell her that Harry was back on Tinder and cheating on her, along with all the screenshots of messages he had sent her. Harry manipulated and guilt-tripped Alice, telling her that it was other members in his squad trying to set him up and get back at him, but never said the reason behind it. He continued with the gaslighting, telling her, "This is your insecurity that you don't believe me. I'm a good man, I would never do that." As far as Alice was concerned, after this, she was done with him and broke off the relationship. She continued a friendship with him, but didn't want anything more. Harry became even more controlling after Alice broke up with him and would not accept the end of the relationship. Every day, he would send her hundreds of messages on every platform, voicemails, and missed phone calls. Please, I can't. When they were together, Harry had stolen the password to her Facebook account, when she left her phone in the room with him, and he had installed spyware. Alice became aware of this when Harry would message her about things that he wouldn't have known unless he was reading her conversations on WhatsApp and other platforms. She went to her brother Nick to help get her phone wiped and factory reset to solve the issue. Tremaine Harry Dhillon had a history of harassment and stalking. He was moved to the army barracks in Edinburgh as punishment after a no-contact order was issued against him from another woman in Kent. Just before meeting Alice, there was a police incident where he saw an ex-girlfriend of his with a new man. He went up to her and spat in her face. There was a restraining order against him, but he had somehow managed to explain it away and no criminal charges were put against him. Alice obviously did not know about this. Alice moved out of her home in Newcastle to a ground floor flat in Gateshead with a friend from work, Maxine. She was frightened of Harry and would get driven home by other colleagues to make sure she was safe. She had double locks on the front door for security. Alice had met someone new. He was a caring, gentle man from Germany that she had met through her sister called Mike. In October 2016, her new potential boyfriend was coming to see her for the weekend. That week, on October 2nd, Alice was alone in the flat, as Maxine was at her own boyfriend's house. Not long after she arrived home from work, there was a knock on the front door. When she looked through the peephole, nobody was there. This happened 3 more times throughout the evening. When she goes to her bedroom at the back of the flat to go to sleep, there is a knock on the window behind her bed. She opens the curtains and Harry is stood there staring at her. He had climbed over the back fence, left flowers and chocolates on her windowsill and continued to stare at her, silent for a few minutes before leaving. Whilst he's on the drive back to Edinburgh, he leaves a voicemail on her phone.
Hey Alice, after we spoke and you didn't want to speak, so you didn't want to call me again, so that's why I decided to come down to give you flowers and chocolates. I just wanted to give you flowers and chocolates to prove that no, I don't want to kill you. I'm not intending to kill you. That's all I wanted to say. And yeah, on my way back. If you want to take it, you can take it. If you want to bin it, you can bin it. It's completely up to you. I just wanted to do something just to say I'm sorry and show that I really am sorry.
After telling her friends what had happened that night, they convinced her to call the police about Harry's behaviour.
Evening, nothing real, please. Chris, how can I help you?
Hi there. I just need a bit of advice, really, more than anything. So I split up with my boyfriend about 3 months ago. Since then, I know that he's hacked into my Facebook and also my phone. He's been sending me a lot of messages, even though I've asked him not to contact me. And then tonight, I had a knock at my door. And, he'd sent me a message saying, I've been in your garden since 5. I had a knock at my door. And then when I went and looked, I've got like a little, the thing that you can look through. And there was no one there. And then it happened again 2 or 3 times. And then he's come round the back, knocked on my bedroom window. He's been outside and he's left some flowers and chocolates on the outside windowsill. And he walked off. He's not done anything. But I'm concerned. I just feel a bit shaken up tonight.
Whilst on the phone, they advised her that there were 2 options she had. One was to call a solicitor to get an injunction taken out on Harry, or to take out a PIN, Police Information Notice. This meant that if he ever came near her again, he would be arrested. She decided to take out the PIN notice, and she was told that if he was to go near her or contact her again, then he would be arrested. For the next week, she was back to her old self, vibrant, bubbly, and in a relationship with someone new. However, the PIN notice and Alice's new relationship made Harry extremely angry. At the end of the week, on October 7th, he had sent a parcel to Alice's address. It contained photos of them together and a letter where he said, "I know you belong to another man now." She called the police to report a breach of a PIN, but they were not the most helpful in this situation.
Good good evening, Northumbria Police. Jeff speaking, how can I help?
Hi there. Somebody's been issued with a PIN so that they can't contact me. However, I've had a letter off them.
Right, okay. So you're reporting a breach of the PIN?
Yeah.
So you've got a PIN against who?
Against Harry Dhillon.
What was the content of the letter? Was he...
So pictures of me and him, notebook that I'd sent him when we were together and a letter.
What was the nature of it? Was it like threatening or was it harassing? Or?
No, not threatening. It says at the bottom he won't contact, this will be the last I hear from him, but he's said that a lot of times and he never does seem to stop.
After this phone call, she felt stupid for contacting the police and sent a heartbreaking text to her sister saying, "They'll resound once he's stabbed me." On October 12th, 2016, Harry travelled down to Gateshead from Edinburgh and watched Alice's home for hours. He took a picture on his phone of the bathroom window at the back of the house. He waited in his car up the road for Alice to come home from work. When she was dropped off by a friend, he moves his car outside of the house into position. She was messaging Mike on WhatsApp, but suddenly stopped replying. Harry Dhillon broke into the property through the window and a fight broke out between them. The door of her wardrobe in her bedroom had come off during the struggle. She knew she couldn't get out of the flat in time because of the double lock on the front door, so she ran to the only room she thought she'd be safe, the bathroom. She managed to get in and close the door, but Harry kicked his way in and forced himself into the room. He held her head up by her hair, drew the knife deeply across her throat 6 times, cutting through to the spine. Dhillon flees the flat and makes his way back to Edinburgh. "20 minutes after he left the property, Alice's housemate, Maxine, arrives home. She's locked out and shimmies up a drain pipe to get through Alice's bedroom window. She finds evidence of the struggle and Alice's lifeless body in the bathroom and calls 999. She knew exactly what had happened and who had done it.
Thank you. Go ahead, call this. Please, I've just come back to my flat and the door was locked, so I crawled through the window and my flatmate's covered in blood in the bathroom.
Is she breathing?
I don't know. I can't look. I'm sorry.
Okay, try and stay calm.
Oh my God, she's dead. Oh.
Is she in the bathroom? Is she in the bath or?
I don't know. I don't know.
Can you have a look and see if she's breathing for the ambulance?
She's not.
She's not breathing?
No, she looks slow.
How much blood is there?
There's lots. It's everywhere. It looks like she was in the shower. Everything's been knocked over. It looks like she's been attacked. Please help. Alice, are you awake? Alice, she's only 23. I knew this was coming. I got an ex is an absolute psychopath. She put in a statement about him 2 weeks ago.
About who?
Our ex-boyfriend, Harry Dhillon.
When police arrived at Tremaine Harry Dhillon's army barracks, he had time to clean up, get his clothes in the washing machine, and get rid of evidence. They found him trying to climb out of the barracks, something he had done earlier that day, so he didn't have to sign out to try and establish an alibi. They took him into custody and back to Newcastle. Harry Dhillon pleaded not guilty in the murder of Alice Ruggles. Originally, he tried to say that he had not been at her property, but his phone location and CCTV contradicted his story.
So Harry, yesterday, Alice Ruggles was found at her home address in Gateshead and she'd been murdered. Okay, did you murder Alice?
No, I did not murder Alice.
Do you have any knowledge of this?
No, I don't have any knowledge of this.
He then tries to say that he went there to speak to her and she was fine when he left.
I drove down towards Newcastle and because I just wanted answers. So I drove down to speak to her.
So you've knocked on the door and there's been no reply.
No
Did
reply.
you go back to the car?
No.
Did you go straight round the back?
Straight down the back. I jumped over the wall. She was sitting in the living room, the sofa, and she was doing something on the phone. So I knocked at the window, and her first reply was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like she was like, what the hell are you doing here? Like that kind of reply.
So it's a bare window that she's looking through and she sees you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no arrangement whatsoever for you to be there.
No.
So you've jumped over?
Yeah. So I jumped over and she then started saying, what are you doing here? I'm going to call the police, leave now.
How do you end up in the house?
I never entered inside her house.
Right.
I was always outside. She's the one who came outside. So she came from the back, like the back area, and I tried to hug her. She said, I don't want to speak to you or see you because I've heard stories about how guys like you end up killing their girlfriends. And I've got a feeling you'll probably do the same. And I don't want to die. I want to live. And I said, I'm begging you, once, please, when people break up, they at least give each other a hug or say goodbye. And I try and hold her arms like this.
Explain that bit. That's important, isn't it?
Right, can I use you, please? Yeah. So if I'm walking, so she just had her arms like this with her phone in one of the hands. Yeah. So I was like, Alice, please, and as soon as I did that, just holding her arms with her right hand, she just pulled it off and just went like, fuck off, you creep.
What happened to that phone? Whilst this is going on, do you remember?
Do you remember what happened? Like, what do you mean?
Her phone.
Yeah, what happened with her phone? I remember her having her phone when she opened the door. When she showed me, she like, I'm with her thumb on the call button, and I'm like, Alice, please calm down. Stop panicking. I'm just here to speak to you. You've not given me my answers. I just want my answers. Yeah. She's like, I'm going to call 999. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. I don't want any trouble with the police again. I'm leaving.
We're looking for fingerprints. We're looking for blood transfer from the scene to the car.
See, the thing is, sorry, I'm in trouble. There won't be any blood transfer because there was no blood on me when I left that place.
So are you saying when you left her, she had no injuries or anything?
Oh, no, absolutely nothing. No injuries, nothing. She was perfectly fine, fit, healthy.
This was disproved by police when they found Alice's blood on the steering wheel of his car and on his Help for Heroes bangle. He then came up with the story that after an argument with Alice, she attacked him and killed herself in the process. He ran with this in trial as a defence and was arrogant and cocky, believing he was going to get away with it. He stared at Clive Ruggles during trial and made the remark, "It's a shame that her father couldn't be there with her when she died." He continuously taunted her family and friends throughout the trial. The jury took only a couple of hours to come back with a guilty verdict. Tremaine Harry Dhillon was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 22 years. In the aftermath that followed, the police referred themselves to the IPCC, the Independent Police Complaints Commission, for the way they handled Alice's case of stalking. They stated, "We found evidence of a case to answer for misconduct for a police constable for failure to appropriately investigate the report of Dhillon's stalking, and a failure to comply with the force's own stalking and harassment procedures. We found a case to answer for misconduct for the police sergeant for not properly supervising the constable during the investigation. After Northumbria Police agreed with our findings, both officers were dealt with via management action in the form of words of advice and further training to develop their awareness when dealing with stalking and harassment. Alice's family set up a charity in her name to help others who are victims of stalking." So that was the tragic and heartbreaking case of Alice Ruggles. Don't forget to subscribe so you're notified on my next true crime case, and like the video if you did like the video. Also, comment down below on what you think about this case, along with any others that you would like me to look into. It could be my next one.